Man, if it was like 1 degree warmer, I wouldn't be able to sit out here. But it's right at the threshold. You guys gonna have to wait. You guys gonna have to stay there a minute. You come inside and stay out there. Booty club, like to fuck up a sandwich. From the Pismo Beach video, can we all agree that TJ no longer has a human form? Man, that's just mean. TJ's a human being with feelings, guys. With feelings and emotions inside of him. And it hurts his feelings when you say he's not a human. Just letting you know, Moppy Puppy. Maybe that's what you're going for, bro, but I'm just letting you know. Strong men also cry. Fat men definitely also cry. Feeling hurting motherfuckers. Cheers, Coolman. Yeah, it was a strange, like a 6 hour long conversation that I had this morning, or late last night into this morning on the Discord. I've been chilling a lot there. Those of you that, like hanging out with me here, want to have a more direct kind of interaction, go over there and join our Discord. Join the DFF Discord and chill in voice chat, get to know people. Yeah, you came in pretty late, Coolman, if I remember correctly. It had been just going on and on and on. It was alternately a great conversation and a terrible one. For a long time, I felt like me and LP and maybe one other person in that room were really fighting to have a good conversation, but everybody else was having a Pepe Kekistan conversation. But eventually, I think we kind of trained the room to have an adult conversation about a single evolving topic, which was a really nice feeling. It's always fun. It's one of my favorite things in the world to do is to have these long talks, with people. So yeah, it was a lot of fun for me. I enjoy interacting with our fans and stuff. Right, Coolman came in and saved the day, got us back on topic. Man, Moppy Puppy, you're just full of fucking negative energy today, my friend. Well, I don't know how that's any different from any other day. It's full of that negative energy, just negging all day. Hey, look, dude. Here's Paul Zigo. Here's T.J. Kirk. Here's Scotty Kirk. Here's some neckbeards that are making that grind happen. Came up on some paper. Time to neg them. Time to go into full-flowed like neg mode. Hey, what do you like least about DFF? I love when success is at your doorstep. That's the type of shit that starts showing up in your fan community. Hey, what's your least favorite episode? It's so obvious. But you push forward. Yeah, I'm walking on sunshine too, man. And don't it feel good? It does feel good. Coolman dropping them invites to the Discord. Now's your chance. Get in there. Get in there and make it happen, man. Seem gone. I'm a little burnt, probably. I've been doing a lot of acid lately. Has a tendency to change your perception a little bit for a few days, especially when you do it back to back to back like I have. I feel a little weird today. A little bit disassociated, but I'm all right. I'll be back to normal in a few days. I'll go get in the fucking Discord. Yeah, I'm fried. You ain't kidding, bro. I feel toasted. I feel kind of burnt to a crisp at the edges, you know? It's like acid's really working out for you. Hey, it's working out great for me. I'm an internal cosmonaut, man. I'm going where no man has gone before. How do you get motivation? I don't really need it. My lifestyle is my motivation. My ability to pay my bills is my motivation. My desire to do something that I want to do with my life is my motivation. That's pretty much it. That's where I get it from. That's really all I need. Shrooms equals bad. Shrooms are greater than acid? I mean, they're a little different. Yeah, dude. See the invite? You drop the invites, and here comes the rush. Gotta pack people in there, man. Gotta get more folks, more voices in the conversation, more people. Hand to God, I'm a fucking Kardashian. What are these pins representing? This one's an alpaca that Ashley got me. She has a pink one that is facing the opposite way that's exactly the same as this one. She wears it around on her backpack, and I wear this. It's like our little cutesy wootsy version of the heart necklace. And then this here is a pin that I got when I went to see P-Lander Z at the Fun House in Seattle. This is P-Lander Pink. She's my favorite member of P-Lander Z. I got a picture with her, and I got her to sign my shit, and I bought this pin from her. What's an LSD trip like? Like a break from reality? It's pretty nice. Isn't that all trips? Sure. Yeah. All psychedelic trips are like that. Little break from reality, a little invitation to think outside the box for a few hours or days, however you choose to do it. There are those of us out there that need that, you know? I mean, I guess I don't need it. I guess if I couldn't get acid, I'd be okay. In fact, there's long periods of time where I don't have it. And, you know, you come across some and you do it, you know, but I need that reboot. I need to explore different ideas to do what I do. I need to get myself out of set ways of thinking and try and find new ways of thinking about things. And ultimately, the real reason that I trip is because I want to know myself better. I want to learn what makes my brain tick. I want to find out why I think the way I think. I want to find out if it's supported by anything other than hubris and self-assuredness. I want to question all that shit, question my mode of thinking, force myself into a different mode of thinking, force myself to walk in the shoes of a different person. You know, acid is, or any kind of psychedelic is extremely cool for that. So that's why I do it. I think it's super helpful, especially now in my life, considering what I do for a living. What advice should I give to someone who I know is being emotionally abused by a parent but can't leave because they have no means of supporting themselves and are also disabled, also in denial? Fuck if I know, dude. I don't know, man. I don't like giving people advice. I get asked for advice all the time, and if it's something that I feel I can speak on with any level of authority, I'll give it, usually. But I just hate doing it, man. I hate people looking up to you with like this fresh face going, "What do I do? What advice do you have for me, Paul?" I don't know, man. That friend sounds like he's in a fucked up situation. I don't know what you tell a friend that's in that situation. You got to be careful with advice, man. Don't throw that shit around willy-nilly. That's a lesson that you got to learn. People don't appreciate advice the way you think they do. It's just a powerful thing, advice. If someone asks you for advice, they're telling you more than just, I need an answer to this question. They're telling you, I look up to you. I respect your opinion. There's a good chance I will choose to follow your advice. They're not asking, what would you do? They're asking, what should I do? That's a powerful fucking thing, dude. You don't want to give that shit willy-nilly. You got to take into consideration things that I didn't for most of my life, which is, what is that person's life like? Try and walk a mile in their shoes, try and see things from their perspective, and try and consider things that they don't tell you as part of their problem. Try and extrapolate other things that might be contributing to the problem before you start popping off at the mouth about what they should do or shouldn't do. Or just tell them, I don't know. I mean, that's always okay. I'm gonna have a talk with my mods. I don't like some of these timeouts that are being passed out and shit. I just saw a person timed out that, in my opinion, has done nothing but watch and contribute to these streams, and I didn't see anything that deserved it, so. We're gonna have to have a little mod purge, methinks. Methinks there might be too many wrenches. I don't like timeouts that don't have a reason behind them, so. We'll do a little purge later. Yeah, I mean, it's bound to happen. I don't know why her message was deleted, but it won't be next time because the person that deleted it won't be a mod. So, that'll be that. There was somebody else that censored her too that's also going to lose their wrench, so. I don't like that shit. Now, you got a personal problem with someone, your wrench doesn't give you the right to take their fucking voice away. So, sorry, you just lost your wrench. Anybody that does that is going to lose theirs too. I'm watching what you guys are doing. You're the specters, but I'm still the council. Yeah, wrench is super quiet right now. I would be too, but I don't need to see your name here to get you. I'll do it as soon as I turn this off. You out. Nah, J Darky's going too. J Darky and Otter, I mean, whatever. I got nothing against them personally, but both of them are going bye-byes. Those are the twos that's going. I don't know what your personal problem with that person that you muted out was, but whatever it is over today. Or at least your power to do anything about it is over today. That's fucked up, man. Nah, I got too many wrenches as it is. Yeah, that's just not what I'm doing over here. No bully. I don't give people wrenches so they can bully. I give people wrenches so they can clean my chat up. Yup. Is what it is, though. I got no negative feelings about it other than what I've already fucking expressed. You got a higher standard, though. How about that dude with the alien avatar? He doesn't contribute anything here. Dude, Isla Mao, you don't understand, bitch. You don't understand. Isla Mao is one of my most important mods. So you don't understand my thinking. I'm not bullying J-Dark. He's still welcome to be here. I ain't going to treat him like a piece of shit, but this happened another time in another stream where I saw somebody disappear for no reason. It was him that did it. It was the same person that was just done dirty by Otter. So, I let it fly one time, and that's about it. That's about all you get. A secret wrench. Yeah, dude. You guys don't even know about those guys. My undercover wrenches. Of course I care. I care deeply about this place. I ban people out of here. I mute people all the time, but that's just me interacting with you guys, honestly. Like I don't give people wrenches so that they can establish their little fiefdom in here and shit. I give them wrenches so they can clean up this chat, keep spammers at bay, keep people that are posting the same shit at bay so that I can read what you guys are writing to the best of my ability, and that's what they're there for. You know, anybody that uses a wrench in my chat for a personal vendetta immediately has that wrench yoinked. That ain't what I'm about. Goddess Fair Whisper, as far as I'm concerned, has always been a cool person. She's always interacted well with me in this chat. She's made several little videos. She did a creepy cut of the Eye of Woe. She did a creepy cut of Who is V. I liked both of those things. She's an active participant in this chat, and I didn't see her say anything that deserved a motherfucking ban or a silence or anything. So it sounds like somebody being picked on up in here, and I just ain't what this place is. That's not why I'm giving people wrenches, yo. I mean, if you're gonna pick on somebody like Moppy Puppy, you know, silence his ass, time him out over and over again. Yeah, I should wrench Moppy Puppy, honestly, just to make sure I read all his nonsense. About time the herd needs to be culled, yeah. I mean, you know, you gotta do it. It's just part of what you do. You can't put any emotion behind it. You just gotta make the right call. But gives me food for thought in other arenas too. Bad decision making. All the way. His flappy dappy comments, dude. Missed a super chat. I'm sorry about that. Let me go peep it. Love you, Paul, and that voice is music to all ears. Thank you, Eric. Have you seen Brother Lynch Hung's new horror movie, Now Eat? I have not. I've heard about it. Not yet gotten a chance to see it. Can I consider that a recommendation? Is it good? What's going on? Is it good? Yes. Is good? Yes. Oh shit, Jack Deadman got that super wrench, dude. It's not even blue, it's like a full wrench. You guys need an idea for DFF. Can you guys DFF social democracy and the Nordic model? I mean, DFFing different forms of government or different political theories is a good idea. I don't know if it's gonna, I mean, we just sat down and planned out a month worth of shows, and I can tell you that it's not coming up next month. Watching your old videos, why don't you call us tubers anymore? I used to call you tubies. Tubies. I liked it because it sounded like boobies. I don't know. Didn't stick with me, I guess. Never caught on, you know. Koopa, you're living in a dream world, man. There are always sheep and shepherds. Always, always. That's what I'd love to DFF, the red liquid. That's, I really think, that and the lies of Rudolph Giuliani are the two topics I want to cover most on DFF. Probably in that order. The red liquid from the dark sarcophagus that all of us are being denied access to, and then just behind that in terms of importance to the human species, the endless cascade of lies that pour forth from Rudolph Giuliani's sewer of a mouth. But, you know, the business, you know, the show is a democracy. I can put this idea out there, but it's got to be, you know, it's got to be backed by two other people. So I'm working on it. What the fuck is that red liquid other than shit? It's my duty and my responsibility, and even more importantly, my right as a human being to find that out. And I'm being denied access to the red liquid, just like you are. They found the dark sarcophagus, they found the red liquid, and they immediately denied people access to the red liquid. And it's like, you just opened up a treasure trove of the red liquid that no man can claim to own because it's so ancient, and yet you deny us. I would like to take a little sippy straw, and I would like to take a sip of the red liquid from the dark sarcophagus, and I think it's my right as a human being to do so. Yeah, they shouldn't monetize it, though. I don't want tickets to the red liquid. Everyone should have an open invite to come and take a sip of the red liquid. There's plenty for everyone. Well, that's what they're telling you, Caleb. That's why you don't want the red liquid, is because you've bought the official line that it's mostly human feces in there. It's not. It's the red liquid that was found in the dark sarcophagus. Did you see any other biological matter in that fucking sarcophagus other than bones, which is what you would expect to find in an ancient sarcophagus? And yet you are to believe that there's still liquid shit in there. You don't think that the microbes that ate all the flesh off of those bones would have also eaten any kind of shit out of that red liquid that might have been existent there? So you just don't understand, sir. It's a red liquid, and I don't want to argue with you anymore about it. And that's all there is to it. Hey, Paul, what's your opinion? My opinion is that I was going to tell you, but they filled it in for me. The rees of nature, yeah. Nature having a tism fit right now. It happens to us all. See, look, here's an example right here. How do I get mad at you guys when you all flip out and shit in the chat and spam shit? Look at what's going on right now. They ain't. See, and look, now they're chilling. Done. You see? Just a tism fit. Somebody was talking some bullshit out there, and the chorus had to pipe up and have a fucking fit about it, and now they're done. That's the way it works. Everything in the world has to have a tism fit every once in a while, man. That's why I don't shun you tismites. That's why I instead embrace you. I see the value that you confer. Exactly. They're just like you. Paul saw his future heart attack. Dude, I've seen that every day of my life. Does Paul dream of electric geese? Yeah, dude. Yeah, I do. Please don't heart attack Paul. I'm not, I mean, I don't want to, but that's where it's headed. Have you heard about the book President Taft is Stuck in the Bath? It's an illustrated comedy book about good old Taft. That sounds amazing. I'd love to own a copy of that and display it prominently. That sounds awesome, honestly. Genuinely. I'd put that up on my wall. I love Taft, man. I love any fatty. I got that fat empathy, you know. I see a fatty and I immediately feel like I got a connection with that person. And I do, because I'm also a fatty. And there are things, sorry to tell you skinnies, that only a fatty will get. There are aspects of humor and life and the absurdity of life that only a fat fuck will get. So I do have an immediate connection with a fat person. All right, my fat empathy is not based on nothing. Like what? Like what it's like to be a fatty. Like what it's like to walk into a place and have people give you sidelong glances and knowing what they're thinking in their head too. Wow, I'm glad I have never let myself go that fucking far. Like just living as a fat fuck. Huh? Just being a fat fuck. If you're a skinny fuck, you don't understand what that's like. Missed 2 super chats, huh? God damn. Red liquid is made of pure tomat. The rhythm rules. Yes. Watching your own video. Okay, yeah. I'm caught up. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, Morgan. Yeah, buddy. Liberty bonds. Yeah. $5 super chats are a Liberty bond. And if enough Liberty bonds are purchased, I will demod all mods. Is that a good way to trick you guys into sending me money for nothing? Is that a good one? How do you guys feel about opening your wallet to that proposal? Let me just see how good of a shill was I there? Did I give you a proposal that was thought-provoking, or did I give you a proposal that left you feeling like, there is no way that I'm paying $5 for that? I will give 100 bucks. Nah, dude, I like some of my mods. All my wrenches are okay, even the ones that are losing their wrench today. They served with honor and duty, and they were not capable of upholding the honor of the office, but that just makes them normal people. You know, not everyone can be a Spectre. Not everyone is Commander Shepard, you know, or a Saren. It takes a special mind. A question, Paul. Would you rather know all there is to know but be eternally miserable, or having eternal bliss but devoid of all knowledge? You're giving a false, that's just, you can't do that. Knowing all there is necessitates miserableness. So choosing that, no matter what, you're choosing to be miserable. So your addendum to that one is not offset by an addendum to your second point. Eternal bliss and being devoid of all knowledge. You're getting 2 things for one in that one, and you're only getting what you would normally get in the first. Bad hypothetical. Otter is free. Otter lost no freedom. Otter just lost the wrench. I was explicitly clear with Otter that I have no bad blood towards her and that she's welcome to chill here in the chat, just as a normal chatter now. Only fat people like Paul and TJ would know what it's like to get stuck in a double doorway. Exactly. You don't know what that feels like. You don't know what it feels like to walk into something that is made for a human being to pass through and have to turn sideways to get through it. That's just something you never had to do that. A fatty has had to do that. So when I look at a fat person and I can tell that that person has been fat for a significant portion of their life, I do have an immediate connection. I can look at that person in the eye and go, and they know what I mean. You know, it's like dudes with big dicks. You know, people that are in the BDC, they know they got a big dick. They got a certain aura around them. You know, they can walk around, see another dude with a big dick. They probably do the same thing. They're like, you know, maybe it's a happier occasion for them. Yeah. Yeah, dude, women with big boobies. Only they know what it's like to have big old, like a giant, you know, like basically another ass, but on your chest. You know, you got to carry all that extra weight around. Like, don't nobody else know what it's like to have big old titties. You see what I'm saying? Fatties ain't exempt from that. A fatty knows a fatty when he sees one. He knows something. I know something about your life if I look at you as a fatty. I know when you get up in the morning, it's painful because you're a fatty. I know you don't just spring spryly out of bed in the goddamn morning. You get up and there's aches and pains and groans because your body was fucking impacted just by having all that weight on it while you slept. Your back got fucked up. Your neck got fucked up. Your joints are all fucked up. I know that shit. walking onto a plane and everyone hopes you walk by their row. Oh yeah, you can sense that as a fatty. Fuck yeah. You're getting on a plane and there's people, like two people flying together in a 3-person row, and you're walking down the row to get to your seat. Every person you pass gives you a glance, and in their eyes, it's unmistakable. It's like, please let this guy have a ticket somewhere else. I'm not trying to sit next to a fat guy. Probably stinks. And he's going to take up half my seat because he's huge. Like that's what like every fatty knows that feel. I mean, it's in our power to change it, but it doesn't change the fact that it sucks. It sucks to get that look in the eye from everybody you pass, walking down the back seat of a plane. There's also a fear in people's eyes once you found your seat. So if you find your seat first, and then there's a line of people coming, you can look in the eyes of every one of those people as they scan for their seat, looking at your row, going, please don't let that be my row. God, don't let me be sitting next to that fucking guy. So it's a double, it's, as Brett Keane would say, a double-ad sore. It's a total double-ad sore. Nah, dude, I'm not a plain socializer. I'm not looking to talk to anybody. Anyone over 350 should be euthanized. All right, I'm in the safe zone still. I'm way too borderline for comfort, but at least I'm not there. You sound joyfully depressed. That's actually a good position to put me in. I'm always a little depressed. That just is always with me, like the fat. But I'm feeling okay. I feel capable of finding joy right now. You're a pizza roll away from euthanasia. Well, I mean, at least I've got that pizza roll to play with. I got that hairline pizza roll, so I could have a bite of a pizza roll. I could bite one of them motherfuckers in half, and I'd be okay, according to your standards. So at least I got something, man. I got a little wiggle room, is what you told me. Yeah, there's part of me that wants to start buying 2 seats and shit, but I'm not too big to sit in the goddamn seat. I'm just too big to be comfortable in the goddamn seat. If I pack on another 100 pounds, you goddamn Skippy, I'm not going to be flying unless I buy 2 seats or, business class or some shit. But I don't plan on packing on weight. I plan on continuing to lose it, hopefully this time. But my plans have been the same in the past and have turned out very differently. So, whatever, dude. You got to cop to your own failings as a person. Food is my great temptress. Food is my comfort. My unhealthy way of dealing with life. That's also my favorite way of dealing with things. My mom's an amazingly exceptional cook, and this is not me trying to place blame on her for me being fat, but having access to such good, expertly made food made me appreciate it. And it also made me associate it with the warm, fuzzy feelings you get when mom serves you a nice meal, that home-cooked goodness. And I'm able to extrapolate that out to shit that's as shitty as McDonald's, because it's like comfort. Just putting something in your stomach is comfort. And when it's bad food, it's extra comfort, you know, cheesy, meaty, bready, all the bad things that you're supposed to try and do in moderation. The more of that that I can eat, the more comfort I will feel at the end of the day after eating it. See, I understand my unhealthy relationship with food and what it stems from. It's just my, you know, it's like TJ's cigarettes, right? Like TJ's biggest struggle is not losing weight. Now, it is a struggle for him. I'm not saying it would be easy, but TJ's biggest struggle is the cigarettes, the siren call of the cigarette. And the reason that TJ continuously fails at quitting smoking cigarettes is because he doesn't really want to. And that's the reason why I continuously fail at losing weight. Because in a perfect world, I want to just fuck up a sandwich whenever I want. You know, I want to, like, if I'm feeling like a BLT, I want to make one. If I'm feeling like a big juicy burger, I want to go down to fucking McDonald's and get that double quarter pounder, and I want to bone down on it. And I want that to be a choice that I can make in my life because it makes me feel good to do those things. And that's the honest truth about why I've been a fat fuck since the 6th grade. I'm not one of these fat people that has a glandular problem or whatever the fuck. I'm legitimately fat because I live a sedentary lifestyle and I eat too goddamn much. The reason I know that is because I have, at alternate periods in my adulthood, not been fat. I've actually been at, you know, maybe a little more than healthy weight, certainly not somebody you would look at and call fat. I've been in that type of shape as an adult twice in my 20s. And I got there by stopping eating so much and doing exercise. So I know how to do it. I know why I'm fat. I know what I need to do to make myself not fat, but the power of food, man. The power of comfort. The obese can immediately spot each other in a crowded room, of course. Paul and TJ's fat. Every room they enter becomes crowded. Yes, Moppy Puppy, yes. That is the case. Are you gonna buy the Infinity Wars DVD? Probably not. No, I'll probably just buy a digital Blu-ray of it. You know, I'm starting to try and build a collection of movies that I own via Amazon Prime that are linked to that account in some way, so that I can just have the movies when I want to see them. I don't have to go source them. I don't have to worry about whether Netflix or Amazon is currently giving them free. I don't have to get, you know, I don't have to come out of pocket 3 or 5 or 10 or 15 bucks for the movie every time I want to watch it. I just do it once, own it digitally. You know, I lost all my DVDs. I had a pretty fucking huge DVD collection, but that was one of the things I left behind in the divorce and did not pursue getting. So I'm basically starting fresh. You know, I have a few DVDs that were gifted to me, honestly, by fans. When we had a P.O. box for the Drunken Peasants, people would send me movies that I would talk about, and I greatly appreciate those. I still have them. But I'm not looking to buy any more Blu-rays for myself. If I want to own a movie, I'm just going to get it digitally. I'm a half grizzly. I'm all grizzly, bitch. All grizzly. You're in a deep depression, the kind of depression that you don't realize you're in until far after you're in it. Yeah, that's a presumptuous thing to say to me, but whatever. You are entitled to your opinion. I can't remember the last time I bought a physical copy of a game or movie. Games are another one that, like, the last game I remember owning a physical copy of, that I purchased a physical copy of, was probably, I'd have to really think, honestly. I was definitely like a console game for sure, because I haven't bought a physical copy of a PC game in like probably 10 years. I don't know, since I've had my Steam account, I haven't done that. I don't know, man. Probably like Mario Kart 8 or some shit for the Wii U. Monster Hunter 3 or whatever the fuck for the Wii U. Probably for the Wii U, because that was the most recent console purchase that I made. So I would guess that the game... No, that's not true. My PS4 is newer. So let me reevaluate this. The last game that I purchased then was probably like Star Wars Battlefront 2 or whatever the fuck, whatever that was for the PS4. I think I bought a copy of that with the PS4. Yeah, I've got my collector's edition of Diablo 3, and it's actually a really cool, like, say what you want about the game. I think the game is really good now, but I think it was shitty for so long that I don't blame people for not playing it. Blizzard took way too long to figure out how to make that a good game. And it's not a good game in the same way that Diablo 1 and 2 were good games either. The lore and the story are kind of shit in ways that Diablo 2 and Diablo 1 story were not. So you really don't get to scratch that itch. But as a straight up ARPG now, Diablo 3 is totally fun. And more people should probably play it that are into that kind of game. But a lot of people have a sour taste in their mouth because of how Blizzard rolled that game out. But my collector's edition is really cool. I'm glad that I've held on to that through all the craziness in my life. It's one of the only, things that I have that's like that. It came with like a Diablo head statuette with a red Soulstone USB drive in it that has Diablo 2 installed on it. You can just pop it in and play it right off of the USB drive. And when you plug the USB drive in, it glows red, so it's like the Soulstone or whatever the fuck. And then it comes with a great big art book, which is awesome, like a hardbound Diablo 3 art book. Came with a big poster that I still have, so I don't know. I'm not a big collector's edition guy. It was really the first collector's edition video game that I ever bought, and I don't regret doing it. I think the package that I got is really cool. Like, it's a conversation piece. If I ever have anybody over here who's a Diablo fan, they're gonna like looking through that shit, you know? Especially the art book. Like, when I get a coffee table, I'll probably put that in the rotation for people to look at, because it's just really cool. But I don't know, man. Any of you guys buy, are you anybody in here like a collector's edition purchaser of multiple game franchises? I'm just wondering, like, if anybody collects that sort of shit. Do you do any art, Paul? Paint, draw, any music? Yeah, on this channel, I've got some music that I did when I was a younger person. I still dabble with that, but not in the way that I used to. So I guess I sing a little bit. I'm an actor by training, so I like that kind of art. I couldn't draw a stick figure, but I really like drawing. I draw goofy little cartoons, little doodles and stuff, and I get enjoyment out of that, but I wouldn't call it anything that has any skill behind it. BioShock Collector's Edition arm, that's kind of cool. Huge collector since childhood. Neat. Collector's editions always just end up collecting dust and being a pain in the ass to move around. I would agree, like, the one that I have isn't that hard to move, it's one thing, so, but if I had a bunch of them, I would totally agree. Because they come in big, it's got a big ass box, it's got a big, hard, white box that's all ornate and shit, and I've got to find a nice place for that every time we move and shit. So yeah, if I had 10 of those or some shit, I don't even know. I probably wouldn't still have them. I've just never really collected things, I'm not a collector. I don't have that drive in me. Or that singular drive. I guess I do collect bullshit. I have a tendency to hoard, like, little mementos and little things that I have from times that I want to remember. Like, that sort of stuff I'll keep, but I'm not a big, like, I don't have a singular thing that I go out and I collect a bunch of things from it. Action figures, or DVDs, or music, or records, or whatever the fuck. I've just never... I had a small record collection, I guess, but mostly it was for displaying the art on the records. I wasn't a real aficionado, and still am not, of vinyl. I mean, I don't turn my nose up at listening to it. It has a great sound, but I don't know. I just don't collect shit. I don't have that drive in me. Maybe I've just never found something that I like enough to want to have a bunch of, I have a couple of those Funko Pop figures that have been gifted to me, and I really like the ones that I have. Like, Ashley hooked me up. She got me the Ellen Ripley figure and the big-ass Queen Alien figure, Funko Pop shit, for Christmas, I think. And, dude, I love those. I'm trying to find a place to display them in my office. But I would never collect Funko Pop shit. Just... I guess when I was a kid, I I collected cards for a while. You know, I'm remembering like I guess I did when I was a kid have something like that drive because I felt like the drive to collect things like marbles. I was really into marbles as a kid. So I had a collection of marbles that I was really proud of that I'd won off of people in games of marbles and shit that were my favorites, you know. I had, and then cards. So like, it started with basketball cards. I started to buy Fleer and Top Deck basketball cards because I had a friend that was really into basketball and we used to watch it together all the time. And I ended up with an entire set of like, I think it's 1993 Fleer basketball cards that I still think I have here somewhere, honestly. I'd probably be able to find them. But I liked collecting all of those. Like I liked getting down to only having 5 left and going around to card shops and seeing if they had a single of the cards that I needed in good condition and shit. Like I don't know, I guess I liked that, but I really lost interest in those when I started collecting comic cards. So they're Fleer, I think, or maybe it was Top Deck. I know it was Fleer. Fleer also released a series of really, really cool like Marvel comic cards. And at that time in my life, you know, 12, 13, I was really into comic books, maybe a little younger, 11, 12. And so I collected, so I have a whole set of those too, somewhere stashed in our shit. But yeah, pretty cool. But I just don't, you know, I lost interest in collecting them. I got a set of them and I was like, oh, okay, I don't want to do that again. So I remember. Probably missed a super chat here. It looks like I did. Let's take a look. My problem with getting stuff digitally is that it's like $150 to get all the Friday the 13th versus 13 for the Blu-ray collection. I mean, yeah, you can expect those prices to go down. And honestly, if you buy your movies on Amazon Prime and you're not getting brand new films, you can collect those movies way cheaper than you're talking about. Maybe the collections are different, but yeah, I expect as more and more people adopt the digital, there'll just be more competition there, and they're kind of in the mode that recording companies were in the 90s, where they were like, we could literally charge whatever we want for a CD as long as it has 10 songs on it. We can make it a $21.99 instead of a normal $15.90. You know what I mean? They're in that mode right now with digital downloads because it's becoming more and more popular, but the vast majority of people haven't adopted it yet. Once physical media becomes legitimately out of date, then you'll see the prices of that shit come down. And if you're careful about it now, you can get these movies for a song anyway. So, I don't know. You just got to be careful about it. But I get what you're saying. You want that shit now. You want to have that shit in your collection now, and you don't want to spend $180 on it. I get it. So just get the Blu-ray collection, you know. Oh yeah, it's on Super Chat, so I can't read what you're saying. Or you could pirate, yeah, that's always an option. Do you think fat people should be considered a disability and have the same privileges as real disabled people? Depends on why they're fat. If a person is fat due to a legitimate glandular disorder or chemical imbalance, or a person is mentally challenged to the point where they can't be trusted to feed themselves properly and is fat, yes. If you're just fat like me because you eat a bunch of Twinkies and Ho-Hos and McDonald's and shit and chocolate milk, then fuck you. Like, you're not a disabled person. You're a person who's making bad choices every day in their life. And, you know, I mean, if you have a legit disability because you're fat, you shouldn't be denied disability like anybody else shouldn't. But you shouldn't get special concessions just for being a fat fuck. Fuck that. This wasn't about trapping at all. Dude, you haven't been watching. I trap 24/7. Making vlogs, but I'm really a trapper. Booty club about to fuck up a sandwich. Oh, you're like a little teddy bear. You're like a little teddy bear. You sweet boy. Lil Dino. Where my fur's at? Plain Jane, I done changed lanes. I don't need to be flashy no more, you know what I mean? He's so sweet. He's a sweet boy. Yeah. He's a sweet boy. He wants to wrestle right now, and I don't want to wrestle. I don't want it. Arr. Ever play Second Life, Ball? Second Life. Yeah, I fucked around with it once. I made this goblin-looking dude. He was just like short. I just warped him all out, and he was like tiny, and had big old fat rolls, and was like, wee, 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 wee. And I found that like people were just not tolerant of my presence immediately. Like I wouldn't even get to start trolling before they kicked me out because they just knew looking at me that I was there to do the dirty deed, you know. So, yeah, I think I came at Second Life the wrong way. You know, I was looking to actually infiltrate and fuck with some people, but you got to look somewhat normal in order to pull that off. You can't just hobble in there. It's like, everybody knows what you're there to do, you know. That was the mistake I made, but I was disheartened by that because I really liked the character, you know, so I just never played it again. I found a Cards Against Humanity game on Second Life. Cool. Yeah. I just want to mess with people. I just want to find people that are having a good time and just minding their own business on there. And I want to become the thorn in their sides. You know? But I don't know that I'm willing to put in the time and effort to learn how to use the game and shit, so not for me. These people actually live a second life and you just stroll in to take the piss. Well, of course. Absolutely. Like, you don't get a life free of assholes. I'm sorry. Like, we're out here. And we're everywhere. So you don't get to go into your little hug box. Second Life is not your little personal... I mean, if you want to make it your little personal dungeon where no contrary opinion can get in, you can do that. There's a way to go totally private where if you don't have the password, you can't get into an area or whatever the fuck. But you leave it wide open, you're telling me that you want me to come in and fuck with you. You're open to the idea. You understand that in order to have a second life, you got to have somebody to hate. So you invite me. And I'm all too happy to play that role. I'm all too happy. That's the role that I play in my day-to-day life. I'm an irritant, so that's what I like to do. You gonna keep the beard when it goes gray? Yes. And I'm also gonna keep the gray too. You can officially and you can write this down, you know, clip it or whatever the fuck and show me later if I try and dispute it. I don't care. You can all just bitch slap me and unsubscribe if I'm ever like using Just for Men gel and shit in my hair. Like if I'm ever trying to hide gray hairs that are happening on me and you guys see it happening and call me out on it, like if I say anything different, I'm straight up lying to you. Like I don't want that, man. Fuck that. I'm going 100% of the time, all gray, all day. Yep, if I die, I die. You guys have total permission to come and murder me. You know, you can use that as your defense right there. Just show them this clip of the video and be like, Your Honor, he said if he was ever one of those douchebags that uses Just for Men gel and tries to act like he's younger than he is, I could fucking kill him. Right here he is. Look, yes, Your Honor. I wanted these people to come and kill me because if I've lost my ability to be self-aware enough to where I think putting Just for Men gel on me, on my wrinkly old leathery wet like age-worn face, because I think young people are gonna look at me and think I'm younger than I am, dude, I'm not worthy of living anymore. I want you guys to trust me. That's how you know that Paul's ego has given up and lost all joy in his life. Until then, I'm okay. As long as you see me looking like I look now or reasonably like this, I'm all right. But I'm maintaining at least. But yeah, if you ever see Just for Men gel show up, that's just a sure sign that I've given up. I've seen the first season of Black Mirror, but I never bothered to watch the second, and not because of disinterest, just because I kind of had other things going on, and I intend to go back and watch the other seasons, but I just haven't had the chance yet. I got sucked into The Sopranos for a long time, and then for a while there, we were doing this, watching Deep Space Nine shit. So I had that, and I'm not a TV watcher, so having to watch those two things, well, not having to, I chose to watch The Sopranos, but watching those two things was like almost an overdose of TV for me. So I've missed out on a lot of the newer stuff. I haven't seen anything from the second season on, and Black Mirror. I still haven't even finished The Sopranos, honestly. So I'm not a TV guy. So do you think there should be an open season 2 video game? I don't know what open season 1 is, so couldn't tell you. I mean, if you want one, sure, I'll root for it. I hope there's an open season 2, I guess. Whatever it is. He's a troll. It's a bad kids movie. Oh, okay. Well, whatever. Maybe he's not a troll. Maybe he does want that. And if that's the case, dude, I don't want to deny him that. There's plenty of room for him to have open season 2 video game. Planning on doing a DFF on September the 11th. Maybe. Yeah, I think it'd be an interesting topic. I mean, we'd have 3 different kind of age perspectives on it, too. I was a grown-ass man when it happened. I was 21. TJ was a teenager. I think TJ is... How old is TJ? And somebody in the chat room that knows way too much about TJ, tell me what his age is again. I think he's 35 or 30... Is he 35 or 34? Yeah. It's like... Everybody's giving me different answers. He's 33. Okay, so if I'm 38, 8765, so I'm 5 years older than him. So I was 21 when it happened. That would make him like 12, 13, 14 in that age range when it happened. So he would have a different perspective on it than I would, because I was already out living on my own, had a job, at that time. He was a kid, he was a teenager, and Scotty would have been, a tween. He'd have been, 10, 11, 12. And, that's 3 different perspectives on the event and 3 different angles on how the world changed for us. I think it'd be an interesting topic. We could find somebody that's, a little younger or a little older to come and add their perspective. It'd be a good guest show as well. So, yeah, I'd say it would be a decent show. Then my dad told me to go play in my room. Yeah, that's probably what a lot of kids got that day. I love his story about what he did when his mom woke him up to tell him that the plane crashed. Yeah, he says he just rolled over and went back to sleep, and that may be true, but I'm pretty sure after he finally woke up all the way and like probably freaked out like the rest of us. Yeah, I mean, when you're that young, you don't even have a frame of reference. Like a 4-year-old isn't going to look at that. How are you going to differentiate that from a movie that mom and dad are watching or whatever the fuck, Like, you're just not equipped at 4. So you were, for all intents and purposes, young enough to have just been born into a world where this had already happened, and it was part of your history, part of the past of the place that you live, and not part of your, active memory. It's a little different, It's a scary time. Dude, everything closed down on 9/11. I worked at Starbucks, and I got a phone call early in the morning. I was actually getting up and around watching the news to get ready to go to work. I was dressed and ready to go out the door, and I got a phone call saying, hey, every Starbucks in America is closed, so don't come into work today. I said, okay. Starbucks shut every store. That wasn't the only chain that did it. A bunch of fucking places closed down completely for the entire day. A few places were closed the next day. So, Pretty scary. Yeah, lots of people were crying. It was a crazy day, man. Crazy day. Yeah, I didn't catch the beginnings of it, but I woke up to it. Somebody had come into my room and turned on the TV that was at the foot of the bed, and the noise from it woke me up. And I was actually kind of pissed off, but I looked at the screen and I immediately knew something was horribly wrong. Like, I was just like, what the fuck? And that's pretty much the look on my face the entire day. It was just like, because it just kept getting worse, you know? Like, you can watch the archival footage, but you have no idea what it was like to watch all that happen. Because I tuned in before the second plane hit. So I saw that live. The first plane I didn't see. So I woke up to one of the Twin Towers burning, and all this rabid speculation about what had happened with that, whether it was a terrorist attack or a plane accident, and then archival footage of this other plane that had clipped the World Trade Center. A small commuter plane a few years prior to 9/11 had gone off course and clipped the World Trade Center and caused some damage to it. So people were wondering if this was a navigational error. And then as that was going on, there's a live shot of the tower, with I think the North Tower was the first one to be hit burning. And then live on TV. I was just like, and that's when everything changed. It wasn't until that second plane hit that people realized what was going on. Then shortly after that, I started getting reports of a plane that had crashed into the Pentagon, and they were unconfirmed reports because no reporters were being allowed in the area. For a long time, it was unconfirmed whether that plane had actually struck the Pentagon, and then we started getting pictures of the Pentagon burning. You guys got no idea. This was a scary time to be alive. A very scary day to live through. Then we go back to the towers, and we're back to a live feed of that, and one of them falls into its own footprint. We've been watching people jumping to their death out of these burning buildings and just falling. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the building just collapses into its own footprint. So it was just a day where you thought you'd seen the craziest thing that you were ever going to see in your life, and then it just kept happening. Wow, I just woke up to one of the World Trade Centers literally burning. That's probably the craziest thing I'll ever see in my adult life. Holy shit, another jet just hit the other tower. That is probably the craziest thing. Holy shit, another jet just hit the Pentagon. This is probably the craziest sequence of events I'll ever see. Holy shit, another plane was just shot down in Pennsylvania that was aimed at the White House. This is the craziest day that... Holy shit, the North Tower just fell into its own footprint. This is the craziest... Holy shit, the second tower just did the exact same thing. Just kept... Oh yeah, it was shot down. It was shot down, Moppy Puppy. If you believe the official story that a bunch of people banded together and said, "Let's roll, boys," and sent that plane into a nosedive in a heroic act of self-sacrifice, you are so dead wrong. That plane was shot down by an American military jet that was given the order to shoot it down because its trajectory was headed towards the fucking White House. Abso-fucking-lutely, dude. You're so wrong. You're absolutely so wrong, homeboy. I don't even care about who's a pussy and who isn't a pussy. The facts don't lie, bitch. They told us that that plane was sent into a nosedive, broke up slightly during that nosedive due to the contrary force, and just slammed into the ground. And yet, if you look at pictures from that day, there's not a crater to be seen. There's just a giant debris field, almost like the plane blew up in midair and pieces of it rained over a large area, which is exactly what happened. You know, it's a big-ass plane, but you crash a plane, nosedive into the ground, you're not going to get a debris field that covers 3.5 acres. That sprinkled down out of the sky because it was shot down, and rightfully so. I'm not saying that the government was wrong in doing it. I'm just letting you know that that's what happened. This story about heroic people that called their families. Hey, do me a favor. Now, with your 4 or 5G phone,
Go up in an airplane and give your mom a call. Because that's part of the official story of what happened on that jet. You want to test that theory? Go up in a plane and give your mother a call. Tell her, Mom, I love you. I'm about to attack a terrorist. Because that's what we're told happened that day. That's bullshit. You can't make a cell phone call from 30,000 feet. There's no coverage up there. If that part of the story is bullshit, then do you think the let's roll and the heroic let's just crash it might be bullshit too? And there might have been a couple of fucking M16s flanking that jet waiting for the order? I do. Debris field, bullshit story, shot down plane. And it doesn't even matter. F-16s, whatever they are, the jets. You know, the jets with the missiles on them. What about Building 7? Probably destroyed for insurance purposes. Loud as hell. Turn me off, bitch. You want to go to the room and talk to the mic for 300 seconds? If you do, speak up, pipe up. I'm quick with the trigger finger. Oh, the Blue Angels. Well, yeah, they're loud. That's why this jet was shot down over fucking Pennsylvania, in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, those heroic people that, you know, attacked the hijackers and saved Washington D.C. They just managed to do it at the perfect time to crash in the middle of a field, almost like, you know, the exact place that you would want to blow it out of the sky with some jets and stuff, to make sure that it didn't kill anybody on the ground. Man, they were really good, man. Total heroes. They just had a feeling, man. This is the place. Hey, look, dude, we're above the clouds, but hey, this is the place. Let's just crash it directly into the ground, guys. We're over a big giant field in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania, because that's the type of information that a passenger on a plane had back in the fucking early 2000s. There was no app on your phone back then that you could look at and see where your jet was in flight. They hadn't come out with that shit yet, so these guys would have had no idea what they were over. Did anyone survive? No, because the plane was blown up in midair. You don't survive that. It's a great story. It's a patriotic way to cover up a nasty thing that the government had to do to protect itself. But I don't fault the government for doing it. I would have made the same call. You can't, like, those people are going to die one way or the other, and you can allow these people that are attacking America to get the symbolism of crashing it into the face of the fucking White House, or being blown up over Washington, D.C. by an anti-air missile that's around the White House. Or you can just scramble some jets and blow it up in midair and have it rain down on the ground, and then tell everybody a little fairy tale about a heroic bunch of patriotic passengers that called their moms and told them that they loved them from 30,000 feet, and then made a coordinated effort to overpower a bunch of armed hijackers, and then made the conscious decision to steer that plane into the ground. I can tell you which one of those scenarios sounds like the real story to me, but you got to make your own mind up. That's about the deepest my conspiracy beliefs go when it comes to 9/11. You won't hear me say jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams, or there were thermite charges in the building. I don't line up behind that shit. But when it comes to that plane was shot down. Sorry, guys. And I understand why the government did it, and I think it did the right thing in that instance. And I also understand why the government covered it up. But that's exactly what happened. I was just 9 years old when 9/11 happened. As a naive child, I just went on with my day and didn't even know anything horrible. Yeah, well, you were young enough to be free of that idea of consequence. You're lucky. Jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams, but it does change the temper of the steel, weakening the structure. Well, I understand that. Like I said, I'm not one of those guys, so you don't gotta give me the Popular Mechanics article. I've read it. I'm not one of those guys. But I do know that that plane that crashed in the field in Pennsylvania was shot down out of the sky by the American government. I know that for an absolute fact. The only way that you could controvert that fact is by showing me video of it happening the way you say it went down. Beyond that, because the official line on that one just don't make no sense. Other than that, though, it, probably went down pretty much as it looked like it went down on TV. I don't see. I mean, look, there's some circumstantial evidence that might point to the fact that people in our government knew about this, or at least knew that someone was planning an attack like this, and maybe even allowed it to go forward for the benefit of, a big grab on civil liberties and another invasion of a Middle Eastern country with strong oil reserves. I mean, I could totally see that, but you're never going to get evidence of that. There's never going to be an honest investigation into that if that's true, because there were so many people involved in that. So I think that that's a possibility. I think that those types of conspiracy theories might be real. There might have been elements within the United States government that knew about 9/11 before it happened and allowed it to take place. Sure. But I see no evidence to say that that should be my narrative, so I'm open to the possibility of that, but the real answer is you're not going to know. You're never going to get a straight answer on that, so you got to, use your critical thinking to the best of your ability or whatever. Aloha. Alakapukatiki. Iran will sink the U.S. Navy in the Strait of Hormuz soon. Well, if they do, they will regret it for the rest of the blighted little life that their shitty little parking lot of a country. Like, anybody that wrongs us in that way will immediately regret it so bad the one thing on their mind as they die to a horrible explosion will be, man, I wish I could take back that fucking decision I made. Shouldn't have sunk those ships. We don't fuck around. America, if we get attacked on our own soil, we respond 20-fold. We have to. So that's how we keep people from doing shit like that. That's why Iran won't do shit like that. Dude, I'll eat my fucking words if they do, but Iran ain't blowing up shit in the Strait of shit. Not if it has an American flag stenciled on the fucking side of it. They're not retarded. They might be reckless, but they're not retarded. Strait of Hormuz is not U.S. territory. I don't care whose territory it is. If it has an American flag stenciled on the side of it, you better give it a wide berth. I don't care if you own the fucking water that it's floating on. You better give it a wide berth. America's like a shot caller in prison. Can't afford to be punked on the world stage. Exactly. That's exactly it. You see a shot caller in prison, you step to the side and let him pass and give him room. And that's how the world treats America, and rightfully so. It's not even patriotism, it's just the truth. I don't like that America has that power, but you want to look me in the eye and tell me they don't? Wherever you're from, you think that they would ever dare to blow up something of America's? Do you think they don't know what that means for your country? Take a look at Afghanistan. Take a look at Iraq. You don't want to fuck with us. Iraq didn't even really fuck with us. They fucked with their own people and had some oil that we wanted. So we don't even need a fucking good excuse. We'll make one up. You want to fucking deny the truth of that and pretend that America is something it isn't, you go right ahead. You want to call me a fucking froth-mouthed patriot for being honest with you about our position in this world, then you go right ahead. Neither of those things is true in my estimation. We just don't fuck around. The people that run Iran would never give an order to sink a single ship in the Strait of Hormuz or anywhere that had an American flag stenciled on it, because they know what that means. Here's the chain of events. Immediately, America starts to respond, and the bombs are falling before there's even a news story about it. Then the news story happens, and we get to see one of our ships burning and sinking, and we get to hear the death toll of American soldiers on that boat. And I'm just talking about one boat, not even the entire fleet that's stationed in Hormuz. I'm talking about one boat. We get pictures of that as Americans. We look at it, we become afraid for our safety, and we immediately want to see retaliation. The retaliation, by the way, that's already begun. Then we start seeing news stories about the bombs falling, and we start seeing ramshackle Iranian huts with chunks missing out of them. And we start seeing women and children and young men wandering around with their faces burned off and crying, and we go, yep, shouldn't have sunk that boat now. Keep going. And we watch as Operation Shock and Awe 2 happens. And we bomb that country into a parking lot. And then we feel like we have given them a fair trade for our boat. And then the next person that thinks about trying to sink one of our boats has a good life example to look at. And that is what is always going to happen with America as long as we've got the standing military that we do. Yep. We'll use their country as a giant dry dock for the boat they bombed to rebuild it and make it the head of our fleet again. And we'll sail that motherfucker to the next country that fucks with us and launch missiles off of it. Force is gay. Dude, force makes the world go round. Who's got the big stick? Yep. That's always how America's gotten down. So that's how we have to get down. We want that position of power in the world. We want to be the world police. We want to be the bastion of freedom in the world, and that comes at the cost of being the biggest bully in the world. You come up and poke me in the eye, I'm going to take your fucking head off, and then I'm going to track your whole family down and cut their heads off too. That's America. My eye will long cease stinging, and your country will still be rebuilding itself from what I did to it. Honestly, more nukes is the solution. I know it's not a popular position, but mutually assured destruction would keep. I mean, that's the only, like, I don't know, dude. I disagree that the world would be better off without nukes. Like, I think that it would be. But I understand your position. Like, one of the only things that keeps us in check is that China's got nukes and Russia's got nukes. And, you know, there is a power play here. I'm just talking about countries that don't have the standing army that we do. You know, China's got the nuts to fuck with us if they want to, but they're big and smart enough to know that that's not a good idea right now. You know, they might end up winning that war, but they're going to take heavy losses. Any country that fucks with America, they might be stronger than us. They might beat us in the end. I don't know. But, see, the rees of nature have recommenced. They agree with me, by the way. That's just nature backing me up. And off they go. USA is the LeBron of countries. Okay. Whatever you say, Patna. Well, open war between superpowers is unlikely. Cold war between superpowers already happens and can be just as destructive over a long term as hot war can be over a short term. We have been in an active Cold War with Russia for as long as I've been alive. There have been hot and cold moments in that Cold War, but it has never stopped. And anybody that tells you that it did is a liar. And China, we're engaged in an economic Cold War with them and have been once again since I've been alive. There's also a military expansion Cold War going on with China. They are constantly racing to have the bigger standing army, and they win usually. They have more soldiers in their army than we do. And that is as a result of us. So that's part of the Cold War. That's part of the buildup of aggression. So these things are all leading towards war. And I agree with you, they're very unlikely right now, but they're very likely on a long enough time scale. Eventually, China is going to feel like it's got the nut flush and is going to double down. And by that time, we will have reamed out our country to the point where we're not going to be able to handle it, and China will win. You know, if we exist long enough for something, for a paradigm shift like that to happen. But that's what a Cold War is. It's wars and rumors of war. When you hear the term Cold War, you may as well just interpret that as the future hot war between these two countries. That's what these wars lead to. That's what these economic skirmishes and these proxy wars and these skirmishes over territory that doesn't really belong to the country but that's strategically important to that country, and the backing of opposite sides of conflict that we have no stake in. What do you think that's all about? When we pay a rebel in Assad's regime, a rebel in Bashar al-Assad's regime to fight his regime, and Russia pays that regime to fight us, and they are launching missiles and shooting bullets at one another, do you not understand what that means? That is just the same as an American soldier sitting on a hill and taking pot shots at a Russian and vice versa. The reason they do it that way is because people are way more tolerant of brown people killing each other. People in both countries are way more tolerant of just hearing news about the war that's going on in Afghanistan and how American troops or Russian troops are attempting a peacekeeping effort. They're not coming out and saying, we are funding this in order to gain position on America in the global stage so that we can get strong enough to one day challenge them on that global stage. They don't come out and say that. They just say, we are supporting the regime. We are supporting stability. We are supporting the rebels fighting against this evil regime. That's what you get. But the truth is, we're fighting another. We're fighting each other. We're fighting Russia. Russia is fighting us. It's already happening, guys. Proxy war is exactly what it's called. And it is an integral part of... You want to be blown away? Go to Wikipedia and search Cold Wars and hit enter. And take a look at the list of wars that have taken place in smaller, more impoverished countries that have been backed on both sides by major superpowers, and it will blow your motherfucking mind. It never stops. Never stops. Your parents never knew a time where it wasn't happening. Your grandparents never knew a time when it wasn't happening. Every day it's happening, and your tax dollars pay for that shit too. It's an endless list, and it just goes on and 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 on. As long as you're willing to read it, there'll be something there to read. Endless wars, endless conflicts that have nothing to do with these two big superpowers, but yet one superpower is funding one side of it and the other superpower is funding the other side. Those places are not openly at war, but they're just funding they're funding wars in other places. They're fighting proxy skirmishes with one another, and it's been going on forever and will continue to go on. So we're already at war with Russia. Just a matter of time before it becomes hot. We're already at war with China. Just a matter of time before it comes hot. That's it. Another one of Paul's Alex Jones-esque tangents. Yep. Thanks, Jordan Peterson's Filthy Room, for contributing absolutely nothing to the conversation, providing no counterpoints to anything that I'm saying, and resulting to a cowardly personal attack rather than a refutation of what I'm talking about. You have indeed restored my faith in humanity with your stupidity. One day the nukes will come, yes. The weird thing is Russian and Chinese citizens understand this openly, but Americans live in their own world. Many are simply too ignorant of worldly events. That's true. World leaders should settle their differences with rap battles. Yeah, the world would be a better place. I ain't gonna be no soldier. Yeah. That's one thing that, like, the American government would have been sorely, sorely mistaken to draft me when I was of draft age and draft health. I would never have fought for this country. They would have had to throw me in prison. So it would have been bad for me, but it would have been a waste of their time and energy and resources. There ain't no way I'm picking up a fucking rifle for this country and shooting another human being. Fuck you. Put me in jail. I am a conscientious objector. I have a personal, moral, hard line that does not allow me to pick up a gun for a bunch of fucking shitty ass billionaires and shoot another person in the face in a foreign country I never wanted to go to. I wouldn't dodge the draft. I'd show up, and when they handed me a gun, I'd drop it. When they slapped me around and yelled in my face and put the gun back in my hand, I'd drop it again. When they told me to march, I'd stand still. They came over and yelled at me and had the people fucking beat the shit out of me with soap the next night. I'd stand there the next day and do the same thing. Eventually, they'd ship my ass out of the barracks, find out something else to do with me. I'd rather get beaten by soap all through fucking basic training than ever fire a bullet in fucking retribution for this country. So fuck them. Be a waste of time on me. I don't take orders from people that scream in my motherfucking face. That's a good way to get shut down immediately by me. See, I grew up in a household where that's how people communicated with one another. They screamed at one another. I don't do that. I mean, I still do as a human being. I don't like when I get that way, but I don't put up with that shit from other people. Don't do it. You want to instantly shut down a conversation with me in person? Yell. Get in my fucking face. I give you about 3 seconds. I turn around and walk away from you. And if you follow me, you better be ready to be bitch slapped in the mouth. That's just the way it goes. I wouldn't step on a thumbtack for this country yet. I'm not tough. I just have standards for how I expect to be treated by people. If you're an average Joe, the chances of me actually yelling in your face are almost zero. And I expect that same fucking deference from everybody else. You walk up and scream in my motherfucking face, I'm walking away from you. That's all there is to it. You got nothing to say to me. You never existed. As soon as my back turns and I take that step away, you never existed. I don't deal with people like that. When a man yells at you, you should listen, rant. I'm talking about me personally. I'm not telling you what you should do. I'm just telling you how to shut down a conversation with me. There's a difference between a man yelling and a man yelling in your face, too. Of course, nuance doesn't matter because you made that stupid fucking comment. And if it did, you wouldn't have ever hit enter after you typed that shit. You would have looked at it and gone like, wait a minute, this is pedantic and don't make no sense. Delete. And I'm dealing with a fucking moron, so I'll talk to you like one. Anybody else? Anybody else got a problem? No problem here. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad we're on the same page, buddy. I get plenty of hugs. I got a hug-filled life, man. You can never, you know, as long as I got my Ashley around, I'm never dry of hugs. You can always know that Paul's ego's getting his hug quota filled and then some. Ooh, yeah. I don't know. I guess you guys got to see the first part of a sea change in Paul's ego. I act and think about myself very differently than I did 10 years ago. Starting therapy 5 or 6 years ago was a giant moment in my life, and it led to me having a different outlook on the time that I spend with other people and what I give to other people and what I take. And I just am not that guy anymore. I used to be a guy that would sit and absorb anything anybody wanted to throw at me. I felt it was my duty to listen. And I would suck up people's abuse and tirades and nonsense and try and talk normally with them and allow them to fucking pull me into that yelling match bullshit. You know, because a lot of times when somebody comes at you that way, that's all they want. They just want to see you care as much as they do. So they scream in your face, hoping you'll scream back. Give them an impetus to escalate it. Give them an impetus to blow off more steam. I played that game. I did that social transaction, guys, and it doesn't work for me. So I don't do it anymore. I don't put up with people that scream in my motherfucking face and have nothing to say. You want to get some rage out? You got a pillow in your room, right? Go straddle that motherfucker and punch it until you pass out. Go get your aggression out somewhere else other than on me. I understand people that are soft-spoken. I always make a real effort to hear somebody that's soft-spoken because I think that the things that they say matter just as much as the things that those of us that bounce our room or bounce our voice off the back of the room have to say. Hey, frogs, pipe down, man. Pipe down, boys. No comments from the peanut gallery. Check them out back there, man. You guys can see them, right? You see them back there? Look at them. Oh shit, they're camera shy. They're camera shy, man. Check them out. Cool. The vast emptiness. Yeah. Well, I agree with what you guys said out there in the woods. I'm sorry I haven't been involving you, and those were good points. And look, I'm not telling you how to live your life. You're feeling froggish, Joe. I'm just telling you I have a personal standard and a personal code of ethics now that I live by that includes myself as a member that deserves respect. See, that was the problem with my old code of ethics. My old code of ethics was Paul's ego is worth shit. Everybody else's feelings and problems and emotions are the real important thing, and my purpose here on the planet is to help people. So when somebody comes to me like that, I'm going to engage them because even if it's not good for me, because they are deserving of that from me, because that's how I redeem the horrible person that I am, is that I just give constantly of myself to others. Well, I played that game and it didn't work for me, so now I don't play it anymore. I get what I give, and if I don't, see ya. I feel like that now, Paul. How do I change my outlook? You have to be willing to walk away from everybody. It ain't easy. It's not as easy as just, I'm different today. You know what that decision meant to me? It meant I lost pretty much every friend I ever had. Because when you establish that you are a doormat, then you gather people around you that like to use you like a doormat. So, when I stopped acting like a doormat and stopped being Paul, the guy that's better than them all, the one that you can always go to with your problems, when I started acting like a normal person who had his own problems and not helping everybody through their problems 24/7, guess what walked away from me? Pretty much every friend I've ever had in my life. So that's what you've got to do. If you've made the mistake of living a servant's life, and people have come to expect from you that they can dump whatever they want in your lap and you're just going to smile and say thank you for it, and then you start saying, hey, you don't get to treat me that way anymore, they walk and find another doormat. You're willing to do that? You're willing to lose your family and your friends? You can make a change like I did. If you're not willing to do that, you better suck it up and just keep getting keep getting people's feet wiped on you. Keep getting used and abused. Because that's the choice that you have. Was it worth it? 100%. I'd do it a million times the same way I did it. My life is immeasurably better because I don't have people coming to me like fucking vampires feeding off of my energy. I have people that feed my energy now are my friends. TJ and Scotty feed my energy. They see the passion that's in me and they feed that. They don't use me like a fucking dirty dish rag to dump all their fucking bullshit on. We have arguments, we have disagreements. We're not skipping through a field of daisies with arms locked, tra-la-la-ing. But we're men that respect one another and don't use each other as fucking foot wipes. That's what I surround myself with now. And if you think that's a bad thing, fuck off. My wife was not one of the users. My wife was a good person. Just wasn't compatible with me. Why not? Well, there were a lot of reasons for that. I couldn't be honest with her about what I really was. That was really at the core of it. And the truth of me as a human being is I'm a bisexual man who is incapable of monogamy. I am incapable of giving myself to one person for the rest of my life. I've always known that I'm incapable of that. Every time I've been in a relationship with somebody, there has been an other involved that I had to hide. And if I had told any of those things in any part to my wife, she would have divorced me. So that's the truth of that. Yeah, I came out in LA to Ashley. The first time I was 38 years old when I came out of the whatever you want to call it, the bisexual closet or whatever. Heavily closeted my whole life. You guys have heard me talk about sexuality on the show before. Talk about how I don't like dicks. I don't enjoy this. I don't enjoy that. I mean, that was all part of that was my life, that lie. So I dropped little hints. I'm not trolling. I wouldn't troll about something like this. It just is what it is. I mean, it doesn't change who I am, but it's the truth of my life. I mean, you guys have to understand, like, number one, the bisexual closet is a weird thing. When I came out to TJ, and this was recently, had this conversation with TJ, he told me, the bisexual closet is a weird thing because you can actually stay in it way easier than somebody who's gay or a lesbian. And I didn't really understand at first. I said, how so? And he said, well, he's like, you're a bisexual person. You have a strong preference towards females. You've dated and been in relationships with nothing but females. Therefore, you're sexually fulfilled by that. So it's much easier to hide. You can, you're not like a closeted gay dude who has a trophy wife who he's having to force himself to have sex with. You still like pussy. So it's like, you can go out and get that and be outwardly normal. So it's way easier to stay closeted, I mean, of course I'd fuck too long. I mean, even if you're a straight dude, you wouldn't. That's a beautiful man. I'm a top, I guess. I mean, I don't know, dude. Like, this is an aspect of myself that I've always known about. It's been there since I was a very little kid. My first sexual experiences were all with boys. So it's something I've always known about myself. Feelings that I've always had, even prepubescently. And I was heavily closeted because I was raised in an environment where my parents would have literally rather I've been a murderer or a rapist or a thief or a drug addict than a gay guy or a bisexual guy or a dude that wants to fuck dudes sometimes. When I was a teenager, it almost drove me insane. Have you ever? I've done things with men, yeah. I've never fucked a dude, like I've never had full intercourse with a dude, but I've messed around with men in ways that straight men don't my entire life. Now that I'm open you know, now that I'm out or whatever the fuck. I don't even really feel like I did much in doing it, but it was something that needed to happen in terms of my relationship because I'd never been honest with Ashley. She got the same treatment. It wasn't like I was secretly out to her and just closeted with you guys. I was closeted with everybody. That means the entire 2 years or more, 3 almost, that I've been with Ashley, I've been lying to her face. I had to stop that. I had to be honest with her or we were going to lose our relationship. I mean, that helps too. I'm in a whole different environment. It made it easier for me to say it when I needed to say it to her because I'm surrounded by people that I knew weren't going to walk away from me or judge me or treat me any differently if they knew. You know? I told TJ, he doesn't give a shit. He just kind of chuckled. I think he had his suspicions like everybody else. You know? But there was no disappointment or disdain in anybody's voice. You know, I haven't told a bunch of people. I mean, the only people I've told in person about this are Ashley and TJ. I've shared it with a couple of people on Discord, just in conversation. But yeah, this is the first time I've come before the community with it. It wasn't a hard thing to do. It was contextually needed to talk about what what we were talking about. So I understand that. I mean, the vast majority of you people don't even give a fuck about this, you know, which is cool. Those of you that do, I mean, I can't change what I am, and I can't lie to you anymore about it. You know, you don't like that, you're free to go find somebody who's doing that for you. Let me go turn on a light. Is that okay? Why did I just ask you if that's okay? Of course it's okay. I'm gonna grab something to drink too. Come on, Donald. Come in here and chill out for a minute, bud. It's swampy. Introverted these days. Introverted these days. Plain Jane on change lanes. Plain Jane on change lanes. I'm a closeted bisexual, but I only really like feminine guys with small builds. Well, we have similar tastes, I guess, as far as I can tell. The dudes that I've been attracted to in my life have not been the hyper masculine type. How do you deal with depression? I don't know. I mean, I've tried to learn as much about why I have it and how it affects me as I can so that I can fight it when I can, but there's really no way to deal with it. You just gotta live with it. Must feel good to get that off your chest. I mean, to you guys, here's what feels good, honestly. I don't feel this sense of like liberation from doing it because, like I said, I was closeted for so long that it was autonomic. Like it was like when somebody would bring up, like if we were on DP and TJ starts bringing up how he wants to suck a dick, it's just automatic for me to react like a straight guy. For me to just go, yeah, like, well, whatever. Different strokes for different folks, I guess, but I like the fuzzy stuff, my friend. You know, that type of stuff just becomes so automatic in your life that it's not, like I didn't feel oppressively closeted or anything. So it's not like a big weight's been off my chest. Here's what I'm glad about. I'm glad that in the future, if this type of shit comes up contextually on the show, I can give you my actual perspective on it and not just the lie about what I want you to know about me. Because I think you'll get better shit out of me because of it. You know, but like coming out to you guys was not a necessity. It was just something I chose to do because it helped contextually to talk about something we were talking about. I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't come here tonight planning on telling you guys this. I didn't plan on telling anybody this, to be honest with you, unless they needed to know. I guess I planned on coming out the next time it came up, and it came up here. So, I mean, the vast majority of the people that watch DFF won't know it anyway, because they don't watch this shit. So, you know, if it comes up contextually on the show, you guys will be the ones that saw it coming, and the other people won't, and I'll deal with that when it has to happen. But I wouldn't say I feel like free to talk about things in the way that I actually feel now, which is a good feeling, but I wouldn't say that it's like a big weight off my chest or that I was holding on to some big bag of bricks that I feel like I've laid down. I'm just glad I don't have to play the role anymore, you know? I gotta do the pretend bullshit. I can be honest about what I like and what I am, so that's a happy day for me. Check out these super chats. I've missed a bunch, I am sure. Let's see. There's $1 from somebody. So thank you for that. Read Imperialism, the highest stage of capitalism. Okay. If you think that there were a World War III, who would you think would be in it? Who'd fight and why? I mean, I think we're starting to see the battle lines being drawn. It's going to be West versus East. I would say that it's pretty likely that there be like Russia and China, due to similar government proclivities and a history of communism, band together as a group and form at least a league, you know, like the Axis and allies. You know, I think you already see the battle lines. It'll be the Western world versus the Eastern world. I mean, that's the way it's all shaping up. Let's see. Missed a few more. As a gay man with bi friends, trust me, the bi closet is just as real as a gay one. I'm proud of you, Paul. Cool. Paul, how do you deal with depression? I already answered that one, I think. I'm really proud of you, Paul. As a gay guy, it's never easy to come out no matter who you are. Well, whatever. I mean, thanks, I guess. I mean, the hard one was saying it to the people in my life that matter to me. You know, that one was a tough one. But like I said, it was just necessary. I needed that moment of radical honesty. I needed to have that with somebody for the first time in my life and not lie to the woman I was with for the first time in my life. And I did that, and you know, I think I'm better for it. So, I'm not sure that I think it's the momentous occasion other people seem to think it is, but can't believe I'm a homo. Yeah, I know, man. That's a shocker. What do you think problems that 20-somethings have today, like competitiveness and need to look back and think that our 20s was worth a shit? I mean, every 20-something has always had that problem. I had that problem in my 20s. I don't know, man. I don't pretend to understand you young kids. You do what you want. You ain't listening to me anyway. Condo Paul is dead. Perfect Paul lives. The profile picture will take some time to change, but it's a screenshot of you right now. That's great. Perfect Paul has been born. Pretty much everyone is bisexual to some degree. I don't know that I believe that. I don't put shit on anybody else because, you know, I got painted with that brush. So, yeah, no. People is what they is. Send dicks to Paul. Okay. Go for it, buddy. I'll take a peek. I'll give you a thumbs up, thumbs down on the wiener. Hey, what up, baby? What's happening? Sorry, there's liquid on that seat.
Just gonna get a wet ass.
Skidabbly dibbly doo.
Just wanted to say hello.
Oh, well, hello.
Hello.
I just came out of the closet to Highdeology.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like, for real, for real?
For real reals.
Really real?
For real reals.
Is that really, really?
So the Tizamites now have the information.
Oh. That's
Thanks,
interesting.
Mayan Mutt.
I thought you were gonna
I don't know, dude.
come out with a big shebang.
I still can. It's like, what, like maybe 5% of the people that watch DFF are here right now.
300.
They might spread it to another, 10%, but the vast majority of people that watch the show aren't gonna know until I tell them. So
They're gonna spread it around.
I'll find a way to do it contextually or whatever, so it's a nice big wee-haw moment. Everybody's saying hi, Ashley.
Oh, hello.
There you go.
Hello.
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 Hello. Hello. What can I do to be more myself to the world? Stop giving a fuck to the best of your ability about what other people think about what you are, and just be it to the best of your ability. That's what you do. Well, I mean, it's pretty muggy out here, but it's livable. I'm a little swampy, Probably a little moist underneath the shirt a little bit. But I'm not,
Dude,
Hmm.
when I was going to get our sandwiches,
Yeah.
the little, like, strip mall that the place is in, it has, like, like some little, like, ponds, and it has geese. Like, those little ponds, geese frequent there. There's, like,
Oh.
geese Xing signs. And,
Ah.
and when I was driving there was, like, some rainwater had accumulated in puddles on, like, both sides of the street. And then, like, there's probably, like, 6 geese, at least, on each side of the road, just, like, kind of in the middle-ish of the road, just, like, drinking from these...
Dude, they got big ass ponds to drink
they
out
have
of.
big ponds to drink out of, but they drink the rainwater on the side of the road.
Yeah.
So, like, I couldn't stay in the lane. Like, we had to, like, go into the other lane to go, like, in between these, like, 2 families of geese.
Is that what we're hearing here? Are these frogs?
I don't know.
I can't tell if these are birds or frogs that we're hearing.
I don't know. I really don't know. Because I don't know if I've ever really heard a frog.
Give me a kiss. Smooch me.
Mwah. Lean back inside.
You too, Dinor. Come here. Come here, buddy. Oh, that's a big boy. I want some smooches. Give me them smooches. Mwah. Mwah. Can't beat me. I'm a better wrestler. I'm better at wrestling, boy. I know how to do it. All right, buddy. Calm it down here. Let's take it down a notch or 3. Yeah, Dinor's a little iffy about the bisexual thing, but I think he'll come around. All right, you win. Too tough. Too rough. Too tough. What do I do about judgmental family? Get to a point where you can stand to lose them and then give them the option of leaving or accepting you for who you are and accept whatever they choose. If you don't want to absorb their bullshit anymore, tell them so. And if they keep giving it to you, then walk away from them and stop taking their phone calls and stop visiting them and stop going to family functions and shit. They don't want you around. It's harsh, but it's true. I mean, that's what I had to do, but like, I had to do that with my father. You know, I reached a point with him where our relationship was seeing each other once every year or so, and having him just give this litany of bullshit that I'd done in my past that was embarrassing and silly. And that was really what our relationship was based on, him remembering stupid shit that I'd done. It was obvious that I was still that person to him. He had, you know, never saw the change that I had gone through. It was never enough for him. You know, back in the day, I used to get made fun of because I had a girlfriend and a shit job. I got a good job and a wife and a house, and I still had to hear about all the failings of my past. And I finally told my dad, I don't want to suffer your fucking bullshit anymore. And he never wrote me back. He made his choice. I gave him the option of either treating me like a human being and showing me a modicum of respect, or fucking off to his own business. And he chose to fuck off to his own business. I don't blame him for that choice, but I had to be willing to do that or absorb bullshit out of my father's mouth for the rest of my life. Fuck him. He didn't lift me up at all when I made this change in my life. He wasn't there in a positive way for me when I made this decision to leave my wife. He wasn't there in a positive way for me when I made the career move that I did, move to this entertainment thing. All that bullshit that he talked when I was a kid about how he hoped that I could find something that made me happy, that was all bullshit. He hoped that I'd find something that made him happy, and I never did. So fuck him. That's what you got to be willing to do, though, with people. You know, if you're not wanting to absorb their bullshit, it doesn't matter if they're a fucking family member. It doesn't matter if they're your mom, your twin brother. Your life is your life. You're the one that has to absorb their fucking abuse and nonsense. And if you don't want to do it anymore, you tell them to stop. And if they don't, you walk away from them forever. That's what I did. I'll never speak to my father again unless he reaches out to me, and he's way too proud and stubborn to do that. He might do it in the end of his life or whatever the fuck, and I won't ignore him at that time. If he calls me and he's dying in the hospital or something, I'll hop a plane and I'll go see him before he passes away. But as far as having a relationship with him as a man, letting him into my life, allowing him access to the things that I do and the people I'm around, fuck him. He ain't earned that from me. He's not the kind of person that ever will. I mean, I still haven't fully transitioned. My family fully misunderstands what I've done. All of them are heavily concerned for my safety and well-being. They think that I've gone off the deep end and gone crazy, and they don't understand my relationships, my friendships, or my work. So that's a process. Now, there are some members of my family that have chosen to accept me despite that. My mom, my stepdad, one of my sisters. So, you know, you don't lose everybody. But, you know, they're just people, man. There are people out there, and unfortunately, a lot of these times, these people end up being our parents. But there are people out there that cannot stand you being an individual. They can't hang. I deal with those people every day in my line of work. You know how much negativity I receive every day from people that don't know a fucking thing about me? You know how many assumptions are made about who and what and how I am? You magnify that when they're your family. You know, I let those things roll off my back to the best I can, and 99% of the time they just do. But when a family member holds a misconception about you that fundamentally misunderstands what you are and who you are as a person, and projects all this negativity onto it and makes it an ugly and evil thing when really it was just something that was necessary to survive, that's a hard thing to swallow, man. It's a hard pill. Feeling like you've been wronged, or feeling like people are not justified in the way they feel about you, is a hard thing. But we're all misunderstood and shit. You know, nobody knows another person really. I mean, there are people that are way more accepting. A lot of them are here in this chat tonight, you know. A lot of you do nothing but shower positivity on this channel and ask interesting questions and try and drive funny things and do a little bit of trolling, but good-naturedly, you know. And those are the types of people I try and surround myself with. That's why I keep coming back to this place, because the vast preponderance of you, at the end of the day, as trolly as you can be, that's you. You know. Song of the South. Sweet potato pie and shut my mouth. Take my money, your existence helps me live and not die. Wow, thanks, Joe D. I appreciate it, brother. Looking old, feeling old, bro. Yeesh. All right, fellas, all right. We get it. It's crazy that religion is full accepted and respected, but sexuality is still taboo. Well, that's the world we live in, bro. The most natural of all human endeavors is the gross thing, and some weird fucking ritual that we've invented to make ourselves feel ashamed about how we are and what we are is more popular now. More accepted, more mainstream. The backwardsness of our culture on display for everybody to look at. Whatever, man. I guess it is what it is. People can choose to be Christians. I'm not gonna stand in your way. What, you want to believe that shit. I mean, you bring it to me as an argument, and I'm gonna deal with it. But I'm not out trying to deconvert people. I don't give a fuck. I don't care enough. I'm still dealing with how I interact with people and what I believe about the world and how it works and shit. When I figure that out, maybe I'll start critiquing other people again. But I think my days of constant religious critique are over. You think that allowing your friends to vent to you is a bad thing? I vent to my friends quite often. I don't. No, not at all, dude. I'm not talking about venting. I'm talking about. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. All right, so you can have a distinction in your mind, because talking and venting to your friends is a natural thing, and I don't want you to feel like that's why I walked away from people. When I was talking about being a doormat, here's what I'm talking about. My best friend, he was actually in a video of mine once. His name is Brian. He's a black dude. Well, he was my best friend. I guess we're not anymore. Got a divorce. This is while I was still married, living in my little white picket fence house in Madera, working my 9 to 5. He got a divorce, and he comes to my place the night that he leaves his wife and says, I don't know what to do, Paul. I don't know where I'm going to be. And I said, you're going to be here. Just move in, man. Bring what you can. We got a spare bedroom. You stay, get your head on your shoulders. That's a very nice thing, and it's a thing that I would extend again if something happened to TJ or Scotty and they needed a pad to crash out. They're having relationship troubles. I'm always going to be the guy that has a bed for you. You know how long he stayed in that bed? 6 years. That's what I'm talking about. That's being a doormat. Six years. 6 years, and had a child while he lived with me. A child that he started bringing around half time. So not only was he living there, but now I, as a man that doesn't have any children of my own, am living with a person that does have a child, and they're running around my living room and my kitchen and pooping up everything like children do. The front room of my house that was supposed to be a reading and relaxation room for me and my wife, because a lot of sun came through the front window, became a toy room for his child, stacked floor to ceiling with expensive shit that he bought for the kid that he could have saved up and bought himself his own fucking place. But you know why he didn't? Because it was easier to just rape me and my wife over and over and rape our kindness. That's being a doormat. I don't do that no more. How did that situation come to an end? I left my wife and left that situation. You want to know who still lives in that house? Brian. Still hasn't figured out how to get out on his own yet. Still suckling at that teat. Has a girlfriend, has his kid, lives right there in my fucking old house. I don't give a fuck. He knows what he is. That's not why I left, but that is something that I left behind me and walked away from forever and again. So fuck him, man. I'm not a doormat anymore. On top of that, Brian, who came to me when he got a divorce, I was friends with his ex-wife too, very good friends. In fact, I'd known her longer than I'd known him. I'm still friends with her, by the way, or would consider myself a friend of hers. When he came to me, I was nothing but fucking forgiving, nothing but understanding, and nothing but helpful to him. When I left my wife, he immediately turned his back on me. He collected up a bunch of shit that he had given me as gifts and decided he was going to take those gifts back and not send them to me, and he did that. All the records that I had were gifts from him over the years because he was a manager at a record store. And he decided that instead of helping to pack those things up and shipping them to me when I moved to Texas, which is what happened with most of my other stuff, he decided that I no longer deserved those gifts and he took them back. And then when he found out that I'd found out he did that, he sent me a text message saying, "Oh, hey dude, I just took these records because I wanted to package them properly so that the frames didn't get broken. I'll send those along to you." And you know what I texted him back? The last text message he ever got from me? "Keep them. I don't need them." And that was that. Sell them at your store. Put them back on the fucking market and put a price tag on them. So fuck them, dude. I don't got people like that in my life anymore. It was a heavy cost to pay, but cheers to being free of that. I don't know that I'm better than him as a person, but I just know that I'm not compatible with him as a person. That's not a person that I should have confided in all those years. But you live and you learn. I'm happy that I had the friendship with Brian that I had. I learned a lot about myself from the friendship. So from that mistake, I've learned how to not make that mistake again. Snakes and frogs, snakes and frogs. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end this now. Thank you guys for chilling. There's 300 of you here, so hope you had a good time. I'll see you next time, yeah?